Good evening. Welcome to TVB News. Hong Kong has recorded at least 15 fatal industrial accidents this year, matching last year's total figure. This as the Construction Industry Council criticizes the sector's negligence of safety at work sites and urged for an improvement in workplace safety awareness. Timothy Lee has more.
3, 2, 1.
Hong Kong's Construction Industry Council earlier held the opening ceremony for the annual Construction Safety Week at the Convention and Exhibition Center, calling for further prioritization of workplace safety in the industry. Speaking at the event, Secretary for Development Bernadette Lin says authorities will continue to push for the adoption of the city's Smart Site Safety System, also known as 4S, across construction sites in hopes of reducing industrial accidents.
一宗事故我哋都嫌多。
Lin stresses one accident is too many and calls for 4S to become the standard configuration in the city's construction sites. But some in the construction industry raise concerns about the number of fatal industrial accidents this year, despite the government strengthening measures targeting occupational safety and health ordinance offenses.
我哋出咗咩事呢？
Thomas Ho, chairman of the Construction Industry Council, says many in the construction sector are already satisfied with current safety standards. He emphasizes among the 15 fatal industrial accidents this year, 6 were related to the government or government-related organizations. He adds despite increased fines and jail sentences, a substantial amount of representatives in the construction sector still treat workplace safety merely as a slogan. The CIC head further criticizes a culture of rushing workers, which often leads to workplace injuries or even death. Ho also reminds workers to bear responsibility for their own lives, telling them to reject their contractors' demands if they pose a threat to personal safety. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
A consortium led by China Overseas Land and Investment and Sinoland has been awarded the Hongshui-Q pilot area in the northern metropolis for $1.03 billion, according to the Development Bureau. Other members of the HSK New Development Limited include China Merchants Land, China Resources Land Overseas, CTG Investment Management Corporation, JD.com, all their subsidiaries. The tender adopted the twin envelope approach with a non-premium proposal part and a land premium offer. The Bureau says the consortium scored higher in both metrics than the other bidder, Henderson Land Development. Secretary for Development Bernadette Lin says the consortium unites experienced local real estate giants with established leaders from other sectors. Nordic and Baltic leaders joined Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at a ceremony in Kiev to mark the country's National Flag Day and pledge continued military support against Russian aggression. On Sunday, leaders of Denmark, Norway, Finland, Lithuania, Estonia and Latvia observed the flag-raising ceremony on the eve of Ukraine's Independence Day as a show of solidarity, 4.5 years after Russia began its full-scale invasion. Expressing his gratitude, Zelensky called the visiting leaders true partners who have supported and helped them in a common struggle. Finnish President Alexander Stubb said they would continue the support for as long as it takes and, in particular, help it get through the upcoming winter.
We deliver.
Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen also pledged to deliver strong air defense and reaffirmed commitment to a new missile system that could shield Ukrainian cities and strengthen Europe's defense. Zelensky also told the leaders at a summit in Kiev that his country is experiencing severe financial pressure on defense. Its defense ministry faced a budget shortfall of $27 billion, the president said, as he urged allies to bring forward money from the European Union loan funding plan originally earmarked for spending next year.
Because of the way defense...
Zelensky added the funds would replenish their arsenals to make sure soldiers have weapons in January, February and March. Addressing the meeting, Estonian Prime Minister Kristen Michal cited the recent large-scale missile attacks on Ukraine, stressing Moscow must understand that this war will become more and more costly. Michal went on to say that it was vital to keep Ukraine strong. Zelensky stated he wanted to secure 300 additional Patriot air defense interceptors, the sole weapon to shoot down the Russian missiles, while Ukraine's Air Force had requested 360. He expects to obtain even 5% or 10% of U.S. reserves of the weapons and said Ukraine was able to pay for them. On the same day, U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy for Ukraine and Russia, Keith Kellogg, celebrated the 35th anniversary of Ukraine's independence, which he described it as a promise kept by every man and woman of the country.
35 years ago, you chose freedom. Today, you defend it. Tomorrow, you will build upon it.
Former U.S. Vice President Mike Pence also voiced support for Ukraine in his address at the forum.
It is in the vital national interest of the United States of America to continue to provide Ukraine with the support they need to defeat and repel the Russian invasion.
Welcome back. U.S. President Donald Trump disclosed more than 1,000 financial transactions for the month of June, including shares of defense contractors. The total amount transacted to at least $78.1 million US dollars. Among the notable transactions is the moving in and out of defense contractor Palantir Technologies, buying on June the 3rd and selling on June the 16th and 18th. The U.S. and Iran agreed to a peace deal on June the 14th. He also traded stocks of RTX and Northrop Grumman, two other defense companies. Amid Bitcoin's share decline, Trump also bought and sold Coinbase. Back in May, when asked about Trump's trades, a White House spokesman had said there are no conflicts of interest, and the trades are made without Trump or his family members selecting them. In another bout of wildfires to hit North America, respondents are fighting a human-caused blaze that's fast approaching Reno, Nevada. As some 90,000 are being encouraged to evacuate their homes following 6 injuries, investigations are underway as authorities try to pin down those responsible for the destruction. Gloria Fung has more.
A home engulfed in flames in northwest Reno, Nevada. Residents with their bare essentials as they and some 90,000 others are told to evacuate their homes. Among those, 42,000 residents were ordered to evacuate as the Go Now zone expands, reaching the edges of the University of Nevada at Reno. Nevada Governor Joe Lombardo has declared a state of emergency in Washoe County after authorities determined the fast-growing wildfire that has already destroyed some homes in Reno on Sunday is arson-related and uncontained. The hawk fire began Saturday and quickly grew to 53 square kilometers as it spreads across the Pavine Peak area of the Humboldt-Toyabe National Forest near the California state line, with 800 fire personnel currently tackling the flames. 3 residents and 3 first responders have been injured in the incident thus far. While authorities reveal the fire is human-caused, they have yet to provide more details, saying it's still under investigation. Shifting and strengthening winds are expected to make the fire even more unpredictable, and authorities say residents will have to stay away for at least a few days. This evacuee says she's not sure what her next steps are.
I literally want to cry and go back for all my stuff, but I just pretty much got what I thought I needed, and now I'm just trying to go. And we got a room, because yesterday we were trying to get a room, but everything was pretty booked out, so we were able to get a room today, and now we're just going to go and shower, get some rest, and get ready for tomorrow, because we have to go to work. Sucks, but all the schools are closed tomorrow, so that's going to have to be another thing we have to figure out.
National Guards have been deployed to assist the evacuation. Washoe County emergency officials opened the Reno Sparks Convention Center to evacuees, but they couldn't bring their pets, which were to be left at 2 other locations. Reno, with more than 280,000 residents, it's the largest city in Nevada outside of Metro Las Vegas. Gloria Fung, TVB News.
A landslide caused by heavy rain has claimed 30 lives at a landfill in the West African country of Guinea, with 22 others injured. Less than a week ago, its government announced plans to shut down and relocate the waste dump due to the safety threat it posed during the ongoing rainy season. A government statement says the incident occurred at around 2 a.m. Sunday in the Gabasia commune on the outskirts of Conakry, capital of Guinea. Downpours began a few hours after midnight over the open-air Dar es Salaam refuse tip. the largest landfill in the city, prompting heaps of waste to collapse and engulf nearby tents and shacks. A witness said people ran to the site after the first landslide, only for more collapses that trapped more people. Search and rescue operations are continuing on the ground with the support of the Red Cross and the Defense and Security Forces. Crews scramble to clear the site using excavators and other tools to search for those who may still be buried, rescue victims and recover bodies. Prime Minister of Guinea, Amadou Oriba, visited the landfill on Sunday to assess the situation and supervise the mobilization public services. He expressed the government's solidarity with the bereaved families, urging people to stay calm and strictly follow the instructions of rescue services and competent authorities. Tropical cyclone Nara is expected to skirt the western coast of the Lado Peninsula in the next couple of days, while keeping some distance from Hong Kong. The observatory says the chance of issuing a tropical cyclone warning signal is relatively low unless Nara moves closer to the Pearl River estuary. Meanwhile, tropical cyclone Guinea made landfall in Quanzhou, Fujian at around 12:30 this afternoon, bringing strong winds and rain. In Putian, Fujian province, more than 2,000 fishing boats returned to port. Heavy rain also hit parts of Guangxi, Hainan and Fujian, causing this year's second flood on a section of the Yu River in Guangxi. A research team from the Chinese University of Hong Kong and the Chinese Academy of Sciences have explored a new way to treat coronary heart disease. Researchers found that capillaries in the heart can be stimulated to transform into new collateral arteries, allowing blood to bypass blocked vessels and restore blood flow. Ellie Chen has more.
Coronary heart disease remains the most common heart disease in Hong Kong and the leading cause of death worldwide. When a coronary artery becomes blocked, the heart muscle can be damaged by a lack of blood supply, which in severe cases can lead to a heart attack.
When a coronary artery gets blocked, some hearts can build its own natural detours, but not everyone has the same capacity to do it.
To find out how these natural detours form, researchers used a new tracing technique and was able to observe how blood vessels undergo an upgrade. They find that tiny capillaries can widen and strengthen, eventually developing into fully functional collateral arteries that restore blood and nutrients to damaged heart muscle. The team also identified a key growth factor that can stimulate capillaries to transform into arteries, as well as a treatment strategy to efficiently deliver it to the heart. Currently, coronary heart disease is mainly treated with stents or open-hearted bypass surgery, but both have limitations and risks. Researchers say the findings could offer new treatment options for patients with ischemic heart disease.
We have the clinical trial, the second phase. So we need to finish the phase 3 clinical trials, which is a multi-center proof for the efficacy. So still some work until we can really use it as a treatment.
The team hopes to secure more funding to speed up the research. Ali Chen, TVB News.
An elderly man allegedly killed his wife before jumping from their flat at Kwai Chung estate late Sunday night in what the police have classified as a murder-suicide case. Timothy Lee has more.
Officers cordoned off parts of the ground floor corridor of Chung Kwai House, while several detectives arrived at the scene to investigate and collect evidence on the podium. The incident occurred on Sunday at around 11 p.m. Police received a report from the building's security guard that someone had fallen from a height at Chung Kwai House. Upon arrival, officers found an elderly man in his 80s lying on the ground, and he was certified dead at the scene. Inside the deceased man's unit, police discovered his 66-year-old wife lying in the living room. She suffered multiple injuries to her body and head and was later certified dead. Preliminary investigations indicate the husband might have killed his wife before jumping to his death. Officers discovered blood-stained clothing along with blood-stained hard objects and a trash bin on the same floor at the home of the deceased. These are believed to be connected to the case. The two had been married for more than 40 years, and they had told family members of their intention to divorce due to relationship issues. Police are investigating through various channels, including forensic examination of the deceased mobile phones, to determine the underlying issues. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
Speaking at the Global Unicorn Summit, Chief Executive John Lee says Hong Kong continues to serve as a hub for global supply chain.
Congratulations.
The chief executive furthers that Hong Kong plays a key role in bridging mainland Chinese startups and unicorns with the international market, and is a crucial springboard for those seeking to reach a wider audience. The city saw 20 homegrown unicorns, companies that have been established for less than 10 years and valuated at $1 billion or more, as more than 11,000 global enterprises making the city their home last year, a testament to Hong Kong's attractiveness on the international startup stage, Lee says. Others who attended today included Zhang Yong, Deputy Director of the Liaison Office of the Central Government in Hong Kong, as well as Lau Hai Soon, Director of Investment Hong Kong. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.